Well, welcome back to the Pro Body Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Janos Prochuk, and this is my lovely wife, Melissa Prochuk. How are we going today?
I'm good. I'm excited for today's episode because we're talking all things about our marriage and our business.
Yes, last episode, Mel mentioned that when we first moved in together, when we first got married, she ended up crying for the first, well, honestly, it was a couple of months because
Let's
she really...
get into those. Like, that's a really hard start to this podcast. Melissa's crying. Let's get into that.
So we thought we'd kind of go into a bit more of our relationship today to let you know a little bit of the behind the scenes.
No, definitely. I thought today's episode we could talk about, and a lot of people, especially our clients, are quite intrigued about this, how we balance our marriage, our business, and our personal life all in one, because we understand that not many of you work with your partners. Like, everyone's usually quite separated and they live quite separate lives, which is so fine. But you can take the principles that we kind of balance everything by today and apply it to any area of your life.
Yeah, so we're obviously not professionals in this area, but we would say that we have got quite a good relationship. We've got a great marriage. We're running a business together. So we just wanted to share how we manage our life together. And obviously you guys can take away from this what you can in how you can work together better within your marriages, how you can balance fitness in your marriages, or any relationships that you have, and just all the different demands of life, really.
Or even if you run your own business, like, there's a lot of demands that marriage, business, life, everything that you do can take on you. And it's about having that structure, but also learning to have fun with life and just finding what works for you. What we talk about today is what works for Janos and I, and we have built this over the years, and it may not work for you. It may work for you in the future. We've really had to adapt to a lot of things, like Janos mentioned before. When Janos and I first got married, I cried for a month not because I didn't want to be married to Janos. It was just such a massive life shift. And like, going from going to my own gym, having my own job, living with my parents, all these things, having my friends, everything. And then in one day it switched to, we live together, we work together. My gym is now here. I have a new family here. I miss my family. Like, it was such a big shift. I feel like we could do a whole episode on that, but I'm like, it's taken us a lot to get to where we're at today. And I love our life now. But at the start, I was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to balance working together and learning how to be married together? Like, it was just such a big shift. So we hope today really blesses you with the tips that have really helped us over the years.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing too, is that a lot of people don't realize the struggles that can be there at the start when you first do get married and you first move in together with somebody. It can be like, online you see all of the highlight reels of everyone saying marriage is the best, it's amazing, it's all of this. But then you feel isolated sometimes, where you feel like, am I the only one having these thoughts, these emotions, missing your mum, missing your parents?
Yeah, I still do.
And we just want to tell you that it's completely normal to feel some of these emotions, to have some of these thoughts.
Yeah.
So don't let it get in your head where you're like, I am the only one feeling this. Is this not right? Because there is no perfect marriage from the outset where it's like, okay, this relationship is perfect and it's all, sunshine and rainbows and there's no challenges. Because if that's what you're looking for, then you're not going to find that in a person, because no person is perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing to remember, is that when you are having relationships, it's about finding somebody with the right values, that you obviously get on really well. But even with really good matched people, there is still going to be conflict because you're not the exact same person. And so you just need to remember this with your partners, that when you come together, like, there is going to be differences just purely because you are different people. And it's just learning to navigate that together.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned about how everyone, maybe on social media or even friends that are talking to you are going, wow, marriage is so great, or wow, running your own business is the best, which all those things are, but no one is sharing the lows and the moments that are challenging. And then you start to feel isolated because you're like, well, I'm going through challenging moments. Why are they not? But guess what? Most people are, they just don't share them. So that's why we wanted to be so honest today. We love our marriage. Like, I rarely get marriage advice from anyone, because I'm like, I actually don't want advice from anyone else, because I love our marriage and there's nothing really I want to fix that big, because we work on it together. And I think that's the big thing as well, is a lot of people will go to others for marriage advice, will go to others for business advice or fitness advice, whatever it is, from people who aren't doing very well. And it's like, just fix it together. I don't go to my friends and go, oh, this is what's happening with me and Janosch right now. I don't think I've ever ranted to my friends about us because we have learnt to just deal with things in here. Like we deal with our business together, we deal with our marriage together, and we do it all together. And I think that's the most important thing. So I thought today we'd also start with actually how we met, because a lot of our clients don't know this story. And I thought it might just be a little nice intro into how we've come together in business, marriage, and how our lives just connected, which was such a wild ride.
Yeah.
Do you want to start or me?
Yeah. Well, I think how it started was actually one of my clients. So
Thank you, Rebecca.
One of my clients, Rebecca, she was literally just swiping through on Instagram and then came across Mel's portfolio, her profile, and just saw that Mel was posting about fitness, that she was positive, she was joyful. She said something about God on her story. And then she was just like, oh, well, my personal trainer, he's a Christian. He loves fitness. He's also super joyful, like a Labrador. So maybe I'll just message her and get them together.
Yeah. So on my end, I was working at F45 at this stage, and I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work. And I remember waking up and looking on Instagram at this long message from this girl I don't know. And she'd followed me for a while and liked a few of my things, but I didn't know her. And she was like, hey, love all your posts. You inspire me, all this stuff. Just wanted to let you know that. And she mentioned God. She was like, God really wants me to message you to set you up with my PT. And she was describing him. And she's like, are you single? And I remember just reading it going, what am I reading? And I remember just thinking, oh, this is so crazy. No thanks. Like, thank you so much for the, it's quite flattering, but all good. But thank you so much. Anyway, I put my phone down. I do my big shift for F45 and I come back to my phone after it later in that morning. And she didn't take no for an answer. She put Janosch and I in a group chat with her. And she's like, hey, Janosch, meet Mel. Hey, Mel, meet Janosch. Also,
the good old three-way invite.
Yeah, but putting me into a chat with someone called Janosch, which I couldn't even read his name. I was like, I remember thinking, there's no way I can tell my mum I'm dating someone with Janus. I remember just being like, I have no idea about this name. So I'm quickly stalking him going, all right, well, he's pretty good looking. But me being me, I was like, oh, but like, why is he single? But then I had to go search myself and go, Mel, you're also single. So get off the horse a little bit and just relax.
Yeah, it was funny. She kind of like blindsided both of us. So
yeah,
on my side of things, I actually didn't realize that Mel was a random. So like she just came to one of her sessions with me and she's like, oh, hey, by the way, are you single right now? Like, I think I've got the perfect girl for you. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm single. And she's like, great. Next message I receive is a group chat notification where she's literally put me and Mel together in a group chat and said, hey, Mel, this is Janosch. Hey, Janosch, this is Mel. And I was just like, Beck, what are you doing? I was like panicking because I was like, this is so awkward. What if I don't like the look of her? Like now I'm going to have to like,
lucky he
let her
did.
down like this. But anyway, so we started to get to know each other. We started talking. We went on our first date. And
well, before that, I remember thinking in the group chat, because this Rebecca girl was just asking us questions to get us talking. And I was like, this is so awkward. But I remember thinking, I owe them nothing. Like, I have nothing to lose because I don't know either of them. And I was like, whatever. Like, if I don't like him or if he doesn't like my sense of humor, then I don't have to talk to him at all. So I was very much just like, I'm going for it.
Yeah. We both very much just like laid our cards on the table because we didn't care about it too much at the start. But then as we went to our first date and we met each other, it went really well. I remember getting home and then I got a message from her because she knew when our first date was going to be. And she's like, so how did it go? And I was like, Beck, you don't know her. She's like, yeah, I know. This whole time I'm thinking that Mel was one of her friends. She's like, matched me with one of her best friends or something like that. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't know her. I'm like, I thought this was like your best friend or like somebody that you knew.
What about on my end though? It was bold for me to go. I remember being in the car before I walked in going, what am I doing? I don't know him. I don't know her. How do I trust this person? Luckily, what I represent on social media is literally who I am. Like, I don't lie. I put it out there. The way I act on social media is who I am in person. Most people can say. So I was like, well, she knows he will know what he's getting himself into by seeing what I'm like on social media. But I don't know what he's like. What if he's lying on social media? What if he's not a nice guy? But then as I walk in, he stands up and he has a little rose on the table. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. And like, it was just so sweet. So when we started talking, I remember thinking, like, Janos was talking. I remember thinking as we were talking, I was like, oh, I think this is like, is this the guy I'm going to marry? And I remember thinking like I was actually planning, oh, so I'm going to marry this guy as he's talking. Like, it was like a movie moment. I'm not even lying. And I was like, okay. And the only person I told that I went on this date was my sister, Emily. And I safely text her. I'm like, yes, safe, good. Like, I think I text her Pumpkin that I was safe. And it was just such a weird moment when I left there. Like, I still wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, not bad. The reason I wasn't 100% sure is, if you know Janos, he's so kind and so nice. It's like shocking how nice he is. And I remember thinking, there's no way someone's that nice. So it must be an act, and I was waiting for that ball to drop, but it didn't. And then I realized, oh wow, what am I looking for? Someone who's mean? Of course I want someone who's really nice. So yeah.
I remember for the first 3 or 4 dates, Mel, I could just sense that she had a bit of her guard up, because she started to realize, okay, this is getting serious. Like, I like him a lot, right? So I could sense that. But then I remember you saying that I thought that you were just too nice. And I'm like, what is he hiding? Like, he's got to be hiding something. Like,
yeah, it's pretty wild. But then COVID happens. We ended up dating online for a whole month. And 9 months later, we were engaged. 9 months after that, we were married. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
When you know, you know. I remember though, when I met when we got married, I remember thinking, I know him so well. Like, it's going to be so easy being married. Guys, when we went into marriage and business all in one go, it was so overwhelming. Like, I went from working for F45, which everything was done for you. You didn't really have to think. You just show up and really encourage people. Where now I'm working with Janos, I have to now have the hats of being a wife, which I was like, oh, like, do I have to wash clothes? This is weird. Oh, I have to cook? I can only boil
his
an egg.
undies?
Ew. I'm like, Janos goes through 5 pairs of undies a day. Why? Like, it was just
Life
so many
of a PT.
things. Yes. And then on top of that, I was like, oh, now I have to get my own clients. Now I have to program, which is fine. Now I have to do this. I have to encourage them. I have to do the social media, the marketing, the behind the scenes. Like, there was so many hats that was put on me in one go. And I was like, oh, how do I balance this? Also on top of that, being a part of a new family, I was like, you know, being a people pleaser, being like, oh, like, don't be yourself. So I didn't know how to be myself in the beginning. It was so wild. Where now I'm back to Melissa. But it was just such a wild ride. And we faced a lot of challenges in the beginning. And I feel like we've really tackled them now. Like, one of the first challenges, like I was saying, was switching my whole life into one aspect and learning that change is scary, but it can also be a really good thing. And I know maybe you guys are going through a big change right now, or you want to go through a change, but you're comfortable where you are. I kept saying to Janos, I'm like, I just miss my room. I miss my mom. Like, it was so many things I was missing. And I just wanted to go back to that safety net, because it's what I knew. F45 was easy for me. All my life was easy, where everything I switched to was hard. Like, even being a wife was hard, because I'm like, oh, like, how do I be a wife? Like, there should be a handbook. Where now I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. But I found what works for me, what works for us. But at the start, I was trying to be like everyone else. I was watching other people and I'm like, oh, I guess a wife has to do that. Cool. And I'm like, wow, how do I get stains out of clothes? This is so weird. But yeah, I think change is good. But in the beginning, it's okay to feel overwhelmed and really overstimulated. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it's good to remember too that you're comfortable because you know your old life. Like, it's familiar, it's comfortable. You had a great life. It wasn't like it was a bad life.
No, I enjoyed it. Actually,
Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt you here. Like, if I can give any advice to anyone that is still dating and wants to meet someone, make sure you just love your life and yourself so much before you meet someone. I got to the point where I was like just before I met Janos, I bought myself for my room my own new queen bed, desk and set, because I was like, I just love my life. I want a really good bed for myself. Because I was always in a single bed. I genuinely loved my job. I loved my family. I loved everything of how I was living my life. And then I met Janos and I was like, oh, like I love that I feel filled to go and be with him now. I think that's why we moved so quickly, because we both felt so fulfilled.
Yeah. But there is that mourning of the old life, right?
Yep.
Because it's like what you had before was good, but then it's not like, it wasn't that you were struggling because what we have isn't that like good. It's just that it's just different to what you had before. And so it's just about realizing that, okay, to step into my new life, to step into my future, to step into my promise, sometimes you do need to let some old things go and just recognize that, okay, I loved that for a season. And then now I'm about to step into this new thing and I just need to love this new thing. But then it is okay to still mourn the loss or to feel the loss of your old life that you had, because it is going to be different. And again, it's not that the new thing is bad, it's just different to what you were comfortable with, different to what you were used to.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like another like challenge that we had in the beginning as well was like just learning how to balance the marriage and the business side of things. Like Janos would be talking about business when I kind of want to switch off. And then I'm like, well, I want to talk about our relationship. And then because we were still learning each other, it was such a hard season. And we had to really learn, which we do really well now, of like when to switch off and when to like switch back on. And that's a hard thing as well for anyone that works at home or works for themselves, is learning how to switch off completely, which I've learned over the years, you actually just never really switch off, and you've got to be okay with that. That's why you really have to love what you do, because I don't really think that we switch off ever. Like my mind is constantly thinking, how do we serve our clients better? What content can we do? What can we do next for our clients? Whatever it is. But I also know when to completely switch off and go, okay, like it's time to watch a movie. It's time for Janos and I just to be. Like it's time to just completely rot, whatever it is. Yeah. But it took a while to be there, because I remember me at the start, I would just get my laptop out and start working. And Janos would be like, what are you working on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to find something to do. Because I feel like when you have no structure, no boss telling you what to do, you feel like you constantly have to be doing something. Where we've learned over the years to have good structure and to know exactly what we want to achieve. So now once I've achieved those tasks for the day, I know I can step back and be like, oh, Janos, we actually can go out on a date. We can watch a movie. We can do whatever.
Yeah, I think a bit of that too was that, you know, we'd just gotten married. You kind of felt that pressure of performance, like,
oh yes,
like if I'm relaxing, I'm a bad wife, because, you know, because we did start working together. So then there was that aspect of like, oh, well, I don't want to look like I'm going easy and I'm not working. But like my desire, like I like watching you relax. I like watching you fill your cup.
He'd be like, I love seeing you on the lounge like right now. And I'm like, be quiet. I should be doing something.
Yeah, I'm like, can you just relax and just watch a movie?
Because one of my favorite things to do, like I'm easy. When people say, what are your hobbies? Like our job is my hobby. But one of my hobbies is just laying on the lounge with a coffee and watching a movie. Like I love that. I really, really love watching Seinfeld and Gilmore Girls, like just enjoying that. And at the start I was like, oh my God, I haven't watched any of my shows because I don't want Janos to think I'm lazy in business, because I'm not. And it's like, oh my goodness, I had to break that lie off myself so hard, because he was never thinking that. I was thinking that.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things, let's talk about what we did really well. Like what we did really well at the start, which even got us into our marriage, was that we were really transparent and honest with each other from the very start in our dating.
Yeah.
And so from the very start in our dating, we were very honest about what we wanted. Like we were very transparent in like knowing each other. And we were just very, especially I think this was a part of, because we had 2 weeks of in-person dating before the lockdowns happened and we had to go into Zoom dating, we played 20 questions 1,000 times over Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
And so we like, because we could only really do a lot of Zoom dating, we ended up getting to know each other. It was kind of a blessing in disguise, because we ended up getting to really know each other on a very deep level, because we didn't fall in love with the physical, although we do love the physical attraction of each other. We actually fell in love with each other through Zoom, which meant we couldn't touch each other. We couldn't like do anything physical. There was no kissing. There was no hand holding, none of that.
I didn't kiss Janos until like 3.5 months in. I was like, we're friends.
Yeah. And that was partly because you can't, like, what are you going to do? Kiss him through a Zoom screen?
I loved it. Zoom was such a safe zone for me. Dating for me personally, those few dates we did have at the start, I was like, it was overwhelming. I hated it. The anticipation of it. I was like, nah, I can't escape it. Where Zoom, I could just close the computer if I wanted to. It was so safe. I was in my room. I loved it.
Although we were in that early dating stage where you're like watching each other sleep. It's like,
I can't
6-hour Zoom calls.
It was cute.
Yeah.
I used to love it. I think, I don't know why I just did the gag then. Because we did love that. I think it's adorable. And we loved like that cuteness. And I feel like we still have aspects of that, which is really nice. But if Janos watches me sleep now, I think I used to pretend to sleep really cute. Oh my goodness. When I wake up, I have like drool all over the pillow now. I do not look cute in the morning. And I'm like, you married this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you got.
Look, to be fair, I knew what I was getting into, because there was a few times where Mel would fall asleep on the Zoom calls, and then I would just start to see the drool coming down onto the pillow, and I'm like, okay, that's attractive.
My mum would say to me, she'd be like, has Janosch seen your natural hair? And I'm like, he needs to see that once he's locked in, mother. So
yeah. Anyway, where I was
yeah,
going
true.
with this
Back to the
before,
start,
the thing that we did really well is that we were very intentional with dating, and there was 3 things that I remember I was looking for, because I was starting to get older, right? As a 25-year-old, I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to start thinking about marriage, being more intentional with the girls I date. One thought that I realized was that you don't need to date people for long, okay? So if you start dating people, if you imagined on everyone's forehead there was a number of how many months or years you would waste and they weren't the one, you would end relationships and be more intentional with who you're dating a lot quicker. Because as soon as you realize that they're not the right person for you, then get out of that relationship. It's easier to end it earlier than later, and then you can continue going to find the new one.
yes.
So I was very intentional when I was dating, especially in my kind of later 20s, like 24, 25, because I realized, okay, if I'm wasting time with people who aren't the right person, then I'm just wasting time before I get to the right person. And so there was 3 things that I was looking for in looking for my marriage partner. And so the first thing was our faith and our beliefs. I wanted somebody who aligned with the way that I see the world. Otherwise, you're going to clash on that, and it's going to be, or it can be, a very difficult part that just makes your marriage hard from the outset, because then later in life, you're going to be bringing up your kids very differently, and you might clash on some different issues. So first thing I wanted was same beliefs, same faith. Second thing I was looking for is...
Sorry to interrupt. We spoke about, I remember our second date. Like, I think all we spoke about at Guzman was our faith.
Yeah, because it's an important part to
It was
me.
very important. I remember leaving that going, I loved how confident you were to share that with me and be honest, because I'm not here to mess around either. I'd rather know that straight away, because that's how I feel as well. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, first thing is making sure that your faith and your beliefs align. So
Yes.
on the core kind of beliefs around the world, how you see the world, you want to have, they don't need to be exactly aligned, but you want to kind of see the world the same way. Then the second thing was values. I wanted them to value the same things that I value. So I want them to value fitness. I want them to value, health, like just the core values that you have. You want the other person to have the same thing. So for me, a big part is that the other person should make me better. So it shouldn't be, just me trying to improve myself and that's it. But I wanted a wife who would actually make me better and push me to be a
challenge
better
you.
person.
Yes.
And then the last thing is that they just need to be your best friends, right? Because you're going to spend the most time with your partner. So you want them to be the best, like your best friends over attraction.
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as you have those kind of 3 things in place, that was to me what would make it a marriage that could last, is that we had the same kind of beliefs, same values. So we see the world the same way. And that I could be best friends with them and like spend time going on holidays with them, spend time just, in the afternoons with them, because I basically want them to be my best friends in the other sex.
Yeah. I think that's why we work so easily together as well. Like, some people will be like, I can't imagine working with my partner. And I'm like, man, I can't imagine not working with Janosch. Like, that would be so weird, us coming home and being like, how was your day today? I know how his day was. I was a part of the whole thing. Like, again, it's not like we spend every second together. We have very separate roles within the business. But because we're best friends, we're able to deal with things quite easily as well. We're able to have fun in the business. And yeah, we actually enjoy every aspect of everything that we've combined together.
Yeah.
Like, some people can look at that and go, ew, yuck. But I'm like, oh, this is my dream. And I never thought this was my dream. I never thought I want to work with my husband one day. But it just all worked out so perfectly.
Because there's a lot of, like, I would say misinformation on the internet, because it doesn't have to be a negative thing. But I see that working together with your partner on the internet can be demonized as like, oh, it's going to break your marriage, it's going to be hard. But then at the same time, hard things and pressure can also create diamonds, it can create really good things.
Yeah.
And so that's where, if you learn to navigate working together well, then it can actually strengthen and enrich your marriage. Because, like, for example, there is so many benefits to working with your partner. Like, we get to be home together, we get to like talk together, we get to spend our days together. And then of course there's going to be times when you clash, but that happens with any job, no matter where you are, any relationship that you're in. So what were some of the things?
Sorry, what sucks is, like, I can't go to HR and be like, oh, Janosch is being so annoying. I'm like, he is HR.
Yeah. But I think that literally HR is only there because people don't know how to communicate.
No, I'm joking. I know.
you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't need a department to help you.
No, I agree.
Like, if you improve your communication, this is a big thing you can take for any area of your life, is improving your communication so that you can bring issues to the person in a good way.
Yeah.
That's really how life should be, is that you shouldn't have to go to third-party people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You should develop your communication styles so that you can come to each other and air things in a positive way, in a constructive way.
Yeah.
So that, and then also, if you're receiving it from somebody else, to be teachable, to take criticism well, so that you're not feeling like everything is an offense to you, everything is, because then that's when you blow things up to where, okay, now you need a HR department.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're in your marriage, healthy marriages where you have good communication, if you develop this earlier, then you may not need to have counseling. You may not need to have these things later. Again, it's not you failing if you need to go and do that. That's the HR department for your marriages. But the first thing you want to always do is anytime you have any problems with anyone, whether it's your wife, family members, boyfriend, girlfriend, don't just keep quiet. Don't just keep those issues in your heart, because then they fester and they become bigger and worse than they need to be. And then it always gets harder to deal with the longer you're holding something in. Versus if you bring it up early, it's like it can be changed like that, and it could just be such a small thing.
So we had to learn that really quickly, especially being married together, but also being in business together. We had to make sure that our communication was on point. And we both came from different families, how we've been raised. I personally came into this marriage and our business with a different communication skill of going silent. And it's not because I was taught that, it's because coming from a past of being like a people pleaser, I always felt bad if I felt a certain way to put it on people and be like, I'll just deal with it myself. So if Janusz and I was struggling with something and I was going through something in my mind, I would just go completely silent and do the silent treatment for a few days. Where Janusz is a communicator. He wants to talk about things straight away. And I had to learn to be like, oh, my way actually isn't the right way. There are moments of silence, don't get me wrong. Like Janusz knows now, he really understands me of when I do need silence, because sometimes you do need to process things to make sure that you handle situations well. But the more that we've practiced together, the better it's become. Like we're able now to, like, I'll just be feeling something instantly. Like maybe feeling a bit of anxiety. Maybe something happened with a client that's really rattled me. Whatever it is, I can straight away, Janusz will be able to tell, because my mood will change, something will change. And I can easily go, hey, I don't want to put this on you, but I just want to let you know that today I'm struggling with this, but let's talk about it later. And we can talk about it later, because sometimes in business, we're not going to talk about a big issue when we've got both clients in here. Like that's just not the right business to run. But we're really good at going, okay, we're going to talk about it another time. We're going to express exactly how we're feeling. And maybe it's something that I want Janusz to actually do. I used to also people please in the way where I expected Janusz to just know how I felt, or what he should just know what I wanted, which is a terrible thing to do, ladies or males. Like, do not expect your partner to just know what you want. Like I'd be like, shouldn't he know to go get me a chocolate? Shouldn't he know that I'd like a card? Because I'm very much acts of service. Doesn't he know that I would just love if he just cleaned up the house? Like I do that. Why can't he know just to do that? But he's a different person. And our marriage has been so good from the moment I decided to just be like, hey, Janusz, I would love today if you could just clean the shower. I would love if one day this week you could surprise me with a chocolate. Like, tell the person what you want. And that's how we are so good in business now, because I'll be like, hey, Janusz, I can't handle the workload this week. Can you take some of these programs off me, for example? Hey, Janusz, I don't have enough time to get all these calls done. Can you also do that? Hey, Janusz, I see that you're a bit anxious this week. How about I take a bit of load? What can I do this week to make your week easier, because I see you're more stressful this week? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's a big thing, that I think it's more girls who do this a bit more, and it's partly of like the romance movies, rom-coms that you see out there.
Yeah.
You start to have this narrative of like, oh, but if I have to ask for it, then it's not romantic, it's not loving anymore. But it's like, you need to remember that, hang on, if we ask someone for something and then they do it for you out of love, that's still them loving you. Even though you had to tell them what you wanted, like that's just how, as people get busier, as your relationship, you might start to have children, you might have demands of work go up, you might have uni assignments, things like that. Like you do need to ask your partner, and it's loving to let them know what you want. Like if you keep your desires to yourself as hidden desires, that's one of the worst things you can have in your marriage, because then you're having this hidden desire that you wish your partner would do this thing, they don't even know about it because you haven't expressed it to them. Or maybe you did express it once. But then it's like, fight for your marriage. Like, don't just say it once and then hold it against them that I've said it once now and he's not doing it.
Yeah, don't keep tallies or anything like that.
No, like, you need to let them know how important this is to you and like let them hear you. So if you've told them that you want to go on a date night and then it hasn't happened this month, you tell them again next month. Like, grab them by the face and just be like, Melissa or Janusz, I really need to go on a date night with you. I'm just feeling X, Y, Z. Can we schedule a date night? And then let them know, like, because if they haven't heard you, then you haven't effectively communicated the need to them yet.
Yes.
And communication isn't about saying something once, because the nature of human beings is that they're not machines. They're not going to hear it and then implement it straight away. Some people might. And, you can work on yourself to raise your standards of how quickly can I, hear people's needs and then, fulfill those needs. But for other people, if you're sitting there expecting them to hear it the first time or the second time or the third time and to implement things or to fulfill your needs, you're going to be disappointed. You need to let people know, first of all, what you need, what your wants are, what your desires are, and then communicate them to how important they are. And sometimes you can plan it. Like, I know it's not sexy if you're the one where you're like, oh, you know what? I would really love my husband to take me on a date. First of all, give him the chance.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Yeah, try, talk to him, communicate to him your needs. Like, let him know that you really want this.
Yeah.
And then take
Set
it
the
into your
standard.
own hands sometimes as well. Just be like, hey, well, maybe you're so busy. I can see that. I can see you're going really crazy with work right now. How about, can I schedule a date? Are you free on the Thursday? Leave it with me. I'll create a date. And then you create the date night for yourself as well.
I think that's why we do so well now, is because we have communicated so much about certain things that we do, like certain acts of service, certain ways of how we feel loved, that over the last 5-6 years now, we don't really have to ask because we've said it so many times. We don't just say it once. Like, I'm like, Janusz, I want this Taylor Swift song to play at this certain time of the day, and I've got to keep repeating it. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, say it over and over again. Like, the certain date nights you like, the certain like little acts of service that you like that are really cute, whatever it is, keep saying it. And like you said, do the things that you want to do. I can't, like, for that person. I really dislike when I hear other people being like, well, they didn't do that for me, so I'm not going to do that for them, and screw that. I'm like, well, that's not a good relationship. That's you guys keeping tally. That's you guys holding on to resentment, and it builds. You don't realize, but it builds. So, like, I love that Janusz's birthday comes before my birthday, because I really set the standard to be like, this is what I expect and what I love. And because we celebrate differently, like, he was raised in a household where they didn't do balloons and stuff. I was raised in a household where we do balloons, we do the happy birthday sign, we surprise each other, we do midnight messages, like, we go above and beyond. And now Janusz does that for me, and I love that. But the first year he didn't do it, and I was like, what? How dare he? But we've learned that over time. So if you're in a season right now where maybe your relationship or your marriage, whatever it is, or maybe even your business, you guys aren't doing things for each other that you want to happen, no one knows what you're thinking. Just say it out loud. It doesn't take the magic and the special beauty of it away. It actually makes it possible to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And then if you're on the receiving end, so if you're getting requests from your partner, that's where, like, putting it in your calendar, like, hearing those requests and fulfilling them is your way. Like, you haven't failed because they've told you that they want this. Like, if you fulfill their request, it's not like, oh, it doesn't count now.
Yep.
Like, fulfilling someone's request, if they've let you know their needs and then you do take them on a date, or they request flowers and you do get them flowers or chocolates and things like that, that's showing in love that I'm following those actions and I'm doing that. So I always try to do that as well. But I love your point in, oh, well, I'll wait till they're treating me well for me to treat them well, because who's going to break the cycle?
Yep.
And that's how marriages decay. It's like, you need to be the one to proactively love the other person. Love meaning the action of loving them, not just saying you love them, when they're not showing you love back yet.
Yes.
And I always love, like, in the Bible, it talks about, treat other people the way you want to be treated. But then there's another section that talks about how to treat people who aren't treating you well. And it says to treat people better than they deserve.
Yes.
Okay, so what that means is, like, for example, if you're trying to train a dog, okay, if the dog is astray and they're a little bit, angry and they're not doing well, you can't treat them like a bad dog. The way that you improve their behavior is actually treating them better than they deserve. It's showing them love. It's showing them grace when they don't deserve it yet. it's showing them forgiveness when they don't deserve it yet. They might bite you, but you're like, no, I'm trying to warm up the stray dog. I'm trying to warm up the stray cat. So you treat them better than they deserve. You show them love when they don't deserve it. You show them like goodness when they treat you harshly. You don't respond with harshly back. Like when they treat you harshly, you treat them better than they deserve. And I think that's a huge part of the marriage, is not biting back, but treating each other better than they deserve. So if I'm having a negative day and, I make the wrong move, then you forgive me and you love me better than what I deserve in that moment, because I need love.
Yes.
And so often if your partner is lashing out on you, if they're not fulfilling your requests, if they're feeling overwhelmed, then that's a sign that you need to treat them better than they deserve right now. You need to show them extra love, and you might need to fill their cup even though they can't pour into you right now.
I think that lesson has really helped me with our business. And like, we work with a lot of people, and not every single person is going to be an easy client for us, for example. And we've really had to learn, or I have definitely, to work with difficult clients, work with people that don't want to make a change, work with people that can be quite challenging and they go against everything you're saying. And I think once you look at people in the lens of, hey, I need to love everyone, and people act a certain way because of their past, of their experiences, or something they're going through. So it's our job to just love on people and to just be there for them. So I feel like the more that we do that in our marriage, the more that I can do that for my clients, and it shows in our business. Another thing, like going off that point as well, I did have it here, is one of the challenges we had in our business is, which we still have sometimes, is that load and that stress of clients on top of us. So for example, like our job, yes, it's training and nutrition and things like that, but most of the time it's our clients going, hey, this is what's happened to my life. Because the reason that people put on weight, the reason that people don't train, is because of life things happening. So we are usually told those personal things that are happening, and they're it's quite heavy. And just imagine client after client after client after client telling us these things all day. We've had to learn how to go, okay, they've told us these things, we've helped them as much as we can within the time frame that we had, and now we need to empty that and let it go. So when we come back into the house, we're not carrying that, because at the start, I used to carry a lot of that and be like, oh man, this client's going through this. I feel so drained and upset for them. Like, what am I going to do? And I'd take that into our marriage. And I think we really had to learn early on to go, it's actually not my burden to carry. All I can do is this, this, and this, but it's up to them to make that change.
Yeah. If you haven't realized, Mel is a massive empath.
Massive.
So she would take on those emotions. And if you do have any jobs where you are working with people, which is most jobs, then you will have a lot of things that come onto you throughout the day. And it's very important to learn how to do your best in helping people, but then realizing that, okay, you've now put the ball in their court to then help themselves as well. So whether it's your family and they might be struggling, whether it's your friends and they might be struggling, whether it's your clients, if you have a client load and they might be struggling. So for example, anyone who's a health worker, psychologists, exercise physiologists, physiotherapists, personal trainers, like you're working with people day to day, and sometimes if they're your clients, you can feel like you're failing when they're failing, or if they're struggling, it is important to then not take that home with you into your relationships, because otherwise it's that typical cycle of everyone bleeding on each other. So it's like, okay, they might bleed on you, and then now you might bleed on your wife, and now your wife might bleed on your kids, and then your kids will bleed on the teacher, and then the teacher will bleed.
Yes.
And so it just passes on through society, because it just takes that one person deciding, okay, you know what? I'm not going to bleed on another person. And if I accidentally do treat them harshly when it's undeserved, and you're doing this, a good sign of this is if you had a response that was not worthy of what they did. So if they, I don't know, what's something that someone might do?
I don't know, it's your
If
point.
they left dishes, if they left some dishes out on the kitchen bench instead of putting it in the dishwasher, and then you just
straight
lose
to jail,
right? If you just lose it at that, and it's like, was that really worth that? Your first response might be like, yes, because they're always leaving the dishes on the thing. And it's like, well, hold on a second. Or is there something else that you're carrying right now that you haven't dealt with, or you haven't let go, like just release it.
Yep.
And then now you're bleeding on there, and you're adding the extra frustration that was undeserved onto the thing that you're now justifying, saying, oh, but it is because they left the dishes out.
Yeah.
It's not about the dishes.
But I think that's why it's really important to be able to openly express and be honest with your partner, whether you work with them or not, to just be like, hey, like this happened today. I'm trying really hard to overcome it. So they at least know. Like sometimes if I lash out at Janos, he's like, whoa, where did that come from? I'm like, oh, like this, and this happened. And he's like, well, I didn't know that.
At first, she'll actually not say that, and it'll just be my fault still. Then she'll walk away, have 5 minutes, then walk back in the room,
and I'm like,
and be
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right. It's actually not you. It was this thing that happened. I'm like, thank you.
But yeah, I think it's just really important to be honest with each other, and it just makes life so much easier. Again, not just with marriage, but with business, with your workmates, with your family. Just being 100% honest. And just being like, this is how I'm feeling right now. And I may not be at 100% capacity right now. And I've seen that quote before where it talks about your partner might not be at 100%. So, you know, that it's not about you going, okay, I'm going to be at, like if you're at 20% today, I'm not going to be at 80%. I'm going to push for like 100% to bring you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some days you might not be the best. What's really good about me and Janos is it's rare that both of us are having a low day, very rare. So what's really good with us is if we do have a low day, maybe we're exhausted, maybe we're burnt out, whatever it is, we can bring each other up. And I'm not looking at Janos going, oh man, like I've got my own stuff to worry about. How dare you have a bad day? I'm thinking, okay, like how do I, because I've got a full capacity today, how do I get my stuff done and also just take a bit of load off him? Like, if you look at your marriage and your business, whatever it is, as teamwork, you never go, oh man, like he's so annoying. I don't want to deal with his stuff. I'm always looking at our team should always be at 100%. And if it's not, then it's up to one of us to be the person who brings each other up. Now, Janos does that so well for us. Like I know for me, if I have an emotional day, maybe on my period, maybe I'm run down, whatever it is, like through everything we went through last year as well, Janos carried us so well. But there are seasons where Janos is really burnt out. Maybe he's overthinking about things. Maybe he's second guessing things. I will then carry him. But the way that you carry each other and make sure your team is really winning is ensuring that you individually do really well. Like what we do really well, especially this year, I think that's why we're thriving so much, is we are really ensuring that our habits, our individual healthy habits are in check. Janos is training so consistently, so am I. We are both making sure our nutrition is on point. We make sure we have individual time as well. So Janos has his golf time, I have my Gilmore Girls time. We make sure we also have friendship time, but also separate friendship time. Like we really ensure we fill each other up separately. So when we're together, we're so full that our team works. So I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, I like your point there of keeping up your habits.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge part of, you know, when you're working together, but also when you're in a relationship together, you need to still keep your individual self filled up by focusing on your exercise. Like we were saying about processing things, like going for a run, going for a walk, going for a workout is a great way to release both the emotional energy, but also you get that physical release by using the cortisol in your bloodstream and literally lowering all of your stress hormones and everything. So that's amazing. I think one of the things that you need to do if you're working together with your partner, or just this is just in general with relationships, and especially if you're living together, is dividing up the roles of who's responsible for what.
Yes.
So in our business, we've got different strengths, and that's amazing. So then Mel does more of the creative things, the editing, those types of things, where I do more of the systems back-end part of the business. And so when you're looking at our marriage and we're looking at our household tasks, we realized that there were some things that just weren't getting done, or Mel's just felt like she was taking control of them all. And so what we realized is that we needed to actually delegate who's responsible for those tasks. But that doesn't mean that person is the one that has to always do the task.
Yeah, good point.
But they're responsible for the task being done. So for example, we decided, okay, you know what, Mel, you're responsible for the cleanliness of the house. That doesn't mean that she has to do all the cleaning of the house. It just means that my eyes won't see it because I'm a dude.
I love a clean house. I can't live in a dirty house.
So she will recognize when there's certain things that need to be done. And that's where I gave her permission. I was like, okay, you know what? This is your domain. This is your role. So you're the manager of the cleanliness of the house. But as the manager, you can delegate that out. So you can delegate cleaning something for the kids. Then you can tell your husband, hey, can you do this week? I'd really love you to clean the shower was the example for me, where I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll clean the shower. I just didn't realize it needed
But
doing.
see, that's where I'm just going to stereotype here. A lot of females, because I know I did this, will be like, oh man, because as a female, you're most likely cooking dinner, you're taking care of groceries, you're cleaning the house. It's just those are the roles that we typically take on. And that is great. I actually look at it, instead of looking at it as a drag, I'm like, why do I have to do this? Because at the start, I'd be like to Janos, well, I've got to do business, the same things that you're doing, and on top of this I have to run a household. Instead of dreading that and being like, oh, and resenting your partner, you know what's really smart to do is just to talk to them and be like, hey, like, I actually have a lot on my plate. Most of the time I can take care of those roles, but when I have a busy week of programs, for example, I will say to Janos, hey, like, I'm going to write the list, or I'm going to order the groceries online. Can you just go pick them up for me? Because I actually can't get that done this week because here's a quieter week. Your partner, hopefully, will be like, of course, thank you for letting me know. Janos doesn't know that I'm drowning in the extracurricular roles if I don't say anything. Like, I would hate to get to the point where I'm like going, oh, another sock left out. Oh, me having to do this again. Don't get to that point. Just talk to them and be like, okay, I actually need you to do this role. Like I said, I asked Janos to do the shower, like to clean the shower, because I absolutely hate it. He's doing that role now. Yeah. Janos takes the bins out every Tuesday night, but sometimes he comes in so wrecked and I'm like, man, I didn't have a busy day today. I'm going to take the bins out. You don't have to go, guess what, Janos? I took the bins out. Are you happy? You just do it. And then you praise each other for it, and you really appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just about balancing. Doesn't mean you have to have the same roles every single week, but you work as a team. Like I said, if you're a team, you want each other to win. So when I do something for Janos that I know is going to help him out sometimes, I go, great, that means my other teammate can be lifted that little bit, that little bit higher.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important at the start of your relationship or at the start of your marriage or whenever you move in together. It's important to do this at the start and to delegate or to decide really within your marriage who's going to be doing what or who's responsible for what. So then that way you've done it at the start, rather than sometimes it's hard, 10 years, 20 years down the road, if you're not doing these things, if you haven't talked about it, it can be tough. Not impossible. You can definitely do it. You just need to sit down together and really work towards it to bring it back again.
Yeah, but you can also change as well. So don't think if you've delegated, oh, you're doing the washing, it's like, oh man, for the rest of my life. No, like, you can still change things up. Like, Janos and I always change. Sometimes I get home and Janos is just...
That's why I didn't say it's not about who does what, it's who's responsible for what.
Yeah.
So like, for example, you're responsible for the washing, but sometimes you'll tell me, hey, I've just put a timer on. Can you hang the washing out?
Or sometimes Janos would just do it now. Like,
or you might even just tell me, hey, there's a load that needs doing. Can you put it in the wash? And she'll send me a text message so that it's not just me trying to remember to do it.
Help each other out. I'll be like, hey, in 47 minutes it's finished, and I'll tell him at that time. Again, some women can be like, oh, I shouldn't have to tell him in 47 minutes. But come on, guys, like, let's work as a team. Like, Janos has a lot on his mind that it's not like Janos, if you know Janos, he's not just sitting down watching TV and being lazy. He is thinking about 50,000 things he wants to do for us. And I go, okay, you're taking care of that side of our life and our business. I'm going to take care of this side and look at it as a privilege and be like, wow, like, I'm doing really well in the business, but I'm also making sure that our team and our family thrive. I actually see it as a privilege to be like, wow, like, I'm actually learning how to cook now and do such great recipes and put them together for us. And, I think I actually enjoy when Janos gets to sit down after a busy day and gets to eat it. But guess what? Janos now on Tuesday nights goes, hey, like, I know you have a busy Tuesday. I'll do Tuesday night dinners. And I just love that balance where it's like, we're never looking at things as like planted. It's like, you have to do this. It's set in stone. You just kind of mix and match here and there.
Yeah. And this is where this is why it's been so good for our relationship working together, is because it's taught us to really communicate well, communicate clearly. And we don't have time, when you're working in business together, you don't have time to have petty issues and to let them fester for days, weeks. Like, you don't have time for that. So then you learn to communicate really well. And this is what people can take away, is that just communicate really well with your friends, with your family, at work, in your relationships, because the better you communicate with people, the more clear you are, the more you remind people of what you need done. And again, if you're responsible for doing something, but you want someone to do something, then they might need reminding. They might need a reminder again. They might need a text message just before to do it. If, like, for example, when my mum, when she goes away and I need to feed the cat or do the flowers and water them all like that, she'll send me a message to remind me. Not because I don't want to do it.
Not because she doesn't trust you.
Not because she doesn't trust me, but just because the nature of humans is that we forget things. We're forgetful. Not everyone writes everything down. Not everyone puts things in to-do lists. Like some people are like, oh yeah, I'll do that for you. It's on their minds and they're full, well-intentioned meaning to do it. And they just don't because they forget and they're just busy, due to the busyness of life.
And don't take it as criticism either when people are constantly telling you something. I know when Janusz and I first went into business together, I'd be really offended by him giving me feedback about coaching or like certain things. And I'm like, how dare he?
Or even just a reminder. Like if I reminded Mel something, she's like, I know.
It's in my calendar. And it's like, he's not, remember, your partner is for you, not against you. Well, I hope they're for you. And I had to keep telling myself that. I'm like, Janusz, he's just telling me just in case I forgot, Melissa, take that weight off your shoulder and relax. So I think, just don't get offended by things and be like, oh, like, thank you so much for telling me. I did remember, but thank you. Like, stop being offended, people. I think the biggest tip from this whole podcast is I think everyone should work together with their partner because I think it really does wonders for your marriage or your relationship. Because it's good because you're constantly with that person. And if you're struggling with anyone in your life right now, whether it's in the workplace, a client, whatever it is, spend more time with them. I know you want to retreat back, but spend more time with them, challenge them more, keep sharing vision cast, what you want this relationship to look like. Janusz and I are constantly not just vision casting what we want our marriage to look like and our family in the future to look like, we're vision casting what this business is going to look like. And we do that with our clients as well. Like when we're talking with clients, we're not talking about, hey, like we really hope you lose a kilo. We're like, hey, we can't wait until you're here and you're inspiring these people. Like we're telling people where you're going to get to. So do that with the people that you're struggling with constantly and be like, hey, like, I know I've told you before, but like I would just really love if our relationship could be at this point. And I feel like if we just keep doing this, it's going to get there. Keep casting that vision.
Yeah. And that's where like having help is amazing as well. Like because we started really strong with our relationship, which is laid strong foundations for us to work together, for us to have a great relationship and balance things. But that's also because we did marriage counselling before there was issues.
I loved marriage counselling. Yeah, we did it before we got married. Yes.
Yeah, so we did marriage counselling through our church as part of, coming together and getting married. And we loved those courses because they taught us how to communicate, those good communication styles. And sometimes, like if you haven't done them for a while, if you haven't gone over one of those courses, maybe you've been married 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it could be amazing to do something like that again as well.
Yeah, you're not failing.
You're not failing. It's just that you're learning skills to learn how to communicate better. And it's just something that we really valued at the start of our marriage. So again, this kind of stuff, if you're dating people, if you're not married yet, this is the stuff you want to like go into marriage with because it sets your foundation so strong when you've got a partner who has a growth mindset. If you do these, preemptive counseling sessions, so then that way you understand communication, you know how to essentially deal with conflict because it's great when you're dating, but sometimes you don't experience conflict until you're married, until you're living with somebody. And that's where it brings out, okay, now what is your communication style like really like when things aren't happening?
It's easy to, when you're dating, to be like, oh, we're never going to fight. But things happen, life happens. And I don't think you're failing when you want to get help. I think it's actually a strength to be like, hey, like, we want to improve our relationship, but we need a bit of assistance to do that. Something I tell a lot of my clients to do, which we obviously do because we're in business together, but we do team meetings, whether it's our date night or we do like a structured team meeting over our finances, things that we want to be achieving in the work, in our business, You can do that with your partner. Like I really suggest to some of my clients who feel like their partner's on a different track or maybe have different goals and they haven't come together recently, have a date where you go to a nice cafe, you go somewhere nice, or even just set up your lounge room and make it really cute with a nice coffee. Talk about your goals and make it really cute. Talk about your finances. Talk about maybe where you want your kids to be working towards, whatever it is. Make it really fun. We know we have to do it because of our business, but we also do it for our relationship. If we feel like we haven't had connection in a while because we've been so busy, because we have really busy periods of work sometimes, and then a few weeks later we're like, oh, like we haven't really connected for a while. Like let's talk about things. We do that. We'll have a date night. We'll have a time where we go to a cafe. We'll discuss things. How have we been feeling? Is there anything better we can do in our relationship to make the other person feel loved? And some people might be like, oh gosh, that's so like annoying. But I love it because that's how we constantly are on the same page.
Yeah, it's just connection. And I think that's a big thing, is just realize that life is not just, it's not just a steady timeline that just goes like this. Like there's waves, there's ebbs and flows. Like you need to constantly readjust based on how things are going and how the tides of life go and the seasons of life to change. Like, you know, if you need to talk together and just realize that, okay, household duties, let's rearrange them again. Who's doing what? Okay. And so there's going to be different seasons of all of these things, that it's just about really coming together as a team to make things work and realizing, okay, we're in this for the long haul. How can I love you better? How can you love me better? And then how can we manage our children better? How can we manage our household better? How can we manage our business better? And just being aligned on those goals and the direction you want to go.
I agree. Well, Janos, I love working with you. I love our marriage. And we just really hope today's episode blessed you guys. Again, if you don't work with your partner, that's completely fine. You can use these principles for your relationships, for your future relationships, for the business maybe that you do run, or maybe the business you work for, whatever it is. We hope it really taught you something. We're also happy to chat with anyone. Like we're not experts, like we said, we're not professionals, but we're pretty honest with most things. So I'll tell you if I've been crying. I'll tell you if we've had some challenges. Like last year, we went through grief together for the first time. And that was probably one of the most challenging times because we both had to learn how to deal with grief together, which we're very different people. And I deal with it in silence and Janos deals with it by talking. And we clashed a lot. But guess what? It made us so much stronger. So don't ever feel like, you know, if you ever want to chat with us about something that we're like, oh, you guys are doomed. It's like, no. Like we can all get through things. We just have to be honest about things. There's no point pretending that your marriage or your life or your relationship or your business is perfect. It's actually better to go, hey, I'm struggling a bit right now. How do I get out of this hole?
Yeah. And I think that's something we'll do on a future episode. Is
definitely.
Last year, for those of you who know us, like we had a miscarriage, our little son, Anakin. And I feel like it strengthened our marriage a lot. It was obviously a very tough period and we've still been recovering from it, but we've come back into it, you know, being strong again with our faith, strong with our fitness, strong with our habits, and just really bounced back really well from it. So I think that's definitely an episode that we could do in the future to just show people a little bit more of like when things are hard, what were some of the things we did to get back into the flow of life again. Yeah,
definitely. There'll be a powerful episode. Anyway, guys, we love you so much. We hope you have an incredible week. We hope we blessed your Monday if you're listening in real time. And we all hope you live the Pro Body lifestyle.